Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Sunday, the 27th of August. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Okay, quiet Sunday, quiet Sunday. I've just done a half stake day. I ended up getting six on the short list. It could have been a bit more. I got it to six. And then I had a bit of a debate. Do I get it down to five and just do one Super Yankee Canadian? Do I, do something different? In the end, I was like, no, I'll do two lucky 15s with the six selections, and two selections are repeated, basically. So there's nothing massive prices. And the racing's not the best quality and stuff, so we're having an interest. We are certainly not going big on anything on Sunday, I guess the key thing is the big field handicap that most will have noticed over in Naas. I've left it. It's a sprint handicap, and I'm just a lot more thoughtful at the moment about sprint handicaps. But I left it. I think it worked out to 23, 24 runners, six places, a lot of bookies. We actually do the conversion on that. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of placing or making a frame, and you what you've got is low grade and sprint, and you combine those two things together, and it ramps up the level of inconsistency. So from a form read point of view, it's not the greatest. You'll absolutely find some big prices probably getting involved. I would imagine. But actually, if your chance of framing 1 in 4, that's like betting on a 16 runner handicap and getting 4 places, which it's not as good as what you could get. So although it looks good because you get 6 places, I've left that race. So I've got 3 races at Beverley and 2 at Naas, but I've left where else was it? Yarmouth and Goodwood. Didn't like those, and I did have a little look at Deauville and didn't like anything. So that is coming up. Before that, we'll go through Saturday's stuff. And the mention on the golf is pretty simple. It's gone awful this week on the golf, so apologies for anyone who's got involved in the golf. Really don't feel that's got much to cheer about. There's been a few points where people were sort of a little bit further up than where they were, but looks like it's going to be a complete zero return on the golf this week. That's disappointing. As far as Saturday's performance, it's so tricky at the moment. It really is. August, I think there's 3 days now, 3 days in August, where Sky Bet playing one play extra on a place has made a really big difference. And if you actually roll that up over the whole course of the whole year, that has not been the case. And I know that there'll be people going, wow, you only win if it's with Sky Bet. It's not been like that all year. Equally, it's been a bit hard to come by all year. And the important thing, and I keep mentioning in this, because I know people have been following a long time, will say, well, I've got a restricted Sky Bet account. Betway, for the big field races, are getting on a par now with Sky, and Unibet for some of the smaller field ones. They are 2 bookmakers that are definitely worth investing in accounts. If you're someone who turns over accounts and you've not yet got through Betway or Unibet, Betway is the one now outside of Sky for extra places on some of these races. So today you would have made profit with Sky or Betway, which was the same on the last time that happened, Sky or Betway. Really worth looking into getting a Betway account if you've not already got one, if you've got through Sky. I'd still say Sky are better than Betway. But the last 2 instances of payout, that's there. If you didn't have Sky or Betway, I think 365, because or somewhere like Betfred, where you'd have got bonuses for one winner, which incidentally you do get on Betway. So you do get a bonus for one winner on a lucky 15 as well. So Betway would have actually paid slightly more, depending on what prices you got back. Bookmaker paying bonuses on lucky 15 because we had a couple of winners. Then that would be there. And I mean I'll go through the results, but there's a few other things as well. I'm like, just frustrating, because I think there was pieces of the jigsaw there today. But for the channel, I couldn't quite get the jigsaw together for everybody. There was enough of a return if you were Sky or Betway, because it was more than double money, and it's looking like a good week. That being said, if you didn't win today, then hopefully most did win on Thursday, so people should still be up for the week. So the channel stats, it was 40 on 85, 60 back. And the other thing I'd flag, and I know I keep saying this, and I know this doesn't come across defensive, I don't have the only Sky Bet account I've got is for the channel. I use it for the channel. I don't have one, right? So it's not like I'm betting all of these horses. I'm losing out on these extra places too. It's the difference is, I guess for me, is I can spread my bets across multiple accounts and I do multiple combinations of the same horses. So when you do that, you have to outlay more cash, and that's, I'm not going to put a plan like that. It would blow people's minds how complicated it is. My own personal betting is. It's just what I put out on the channel times a lot more than that, both in terms of stake and variety and combinations. But if I know, like I do know, I'm hitting the right percentages from a win and a place point of view, even without Sky Bet, I know that if you put them in the right combinations, I'll get there. With the prices I play with, it's not just the percentage. You have to get the price with the percentage. So let me go through. So I've got a few bits of notes here just to remind myself, because I didn't write the whole thing out before. So it was bet one, which was arguably my main bet really for the channel, is the one that paid out. So we had Audience ran a great rate. I really thought it almost might get Frankie, but yeah, 20-1 was the SP. I think 22s for the channel. Yuki and Glenn then in the Ebor ran a cracking credible race for a horse of that age, so that placed 25-1, and then we had that going on to the 410 at York with Temple Brewer. At the start of today, 6th place you could have got with Sky, Betway, Paddy and Betfair, but due to a couple of non-runners, Paddy and Betfair changed their place terms, which it might have frustrated you. Tell you what, it frustrated me as well, because there's a lot I lost out on. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a bit more than the 60 quid that the channel made from it. So Temple Brewer, that was the one. It couldn't quite get there. It was 6th place, so it paid for Sky and Betway. So we had a 22 place going on a 25 place going on a 33s place. If you bet Temple Brewer at the right time, you could have got 40s on that. Yuki and Glen was 33s at points. So the channel got back 67.99 for that. It went on to the last leg, Marie's Diamond, and I mean, if you just looked at the bare result, you'd go, okay, but if you actually watched back the race, I thought turning in Jason Hart looked to be going really, really well from the front on Marie's Diamond, and then it just absolutely started paddling really suddenly. He turned the bend, and I thought, oh, he's not off the bridle here at all, and then literally just looked suddenly in massive trouble, and then dropped back through the field. So yeah, that would have been a really nice return. But not to be. And then bet 2 was a struck out. Bet 3 we had Sir Jack Thomas place only. Bet 4 was the big combo bet. We got Yuki and Glenn on leg 1. We got Temple Brewer for a couple of bookies on leg 2. The 520 non-runners took it down in terms of place terms as well, but I couldn't get there. Marie's Diamond faded. So that was the letdown leg. And 8 o'clock we had Chatel Village, which was last, and one of our own, which won. And that was the case. The last two big handicaps, the 640 Curragh and the red card one, I managed to pull the same trick off. I had Stone last and the winner at a double figure price. And that's why sometimes backing a couple in a race can help you. If then you don't have to have all your lean in on one horse. So with nothing back for bet 4. Bet 5 we had Yuki and Gem place, but then we couldn't put it off with the 520. Bet 6 got a profit on it. So the 350 Goodwood was a right letdown. And then the 425 Goodwood, we had some non-runner action there. So it was 25p rule 4, but Angle Lad was second, so that paid out for everyone. And then we had 8 o'clock red car, one of our own in that bet 18s. I think the SP was 22s. So if you've got a bookie with paying bog, you'd have been better off, and bookie with bonuses on luckies, you'd have been better off there. Then bet 7 had Anham on its own, because we had that going on to Chatel Village, and if I'd done them the other way around, you'd have had a different story clearly, with 2 winners there late on, so 14s and 22s. And then bet 8 place double, that almost was double money depending on when you put the book. Well, no, SP was and channel. So Sir Jack Thomas and Arnhem 25s and 14s place double. So that was that. Yeah. So what was going to say? Yeah. I mean, the thing with it is I'm in the right ballpark. It's just trying to pull off. It's very hard work. If you go through those main handicaps today, so you start off the main handicap, the 335 at the Curragh. Sorry, York. It was the Ebor. I had 3 in the race in a whatever it was 23 runner, and we got one of them placed at 25s. So win, that was a start. That started us off. The 410 Temple Brewer was the one. It placed for some and not for others. Annoyingly, if you watch the free bets video I did as well, I actually had the winner in that in an each way double. But because the price shortened up a little bit in the morning, I dropped it out of the main channel selection plan. So it was one of the, I forget, it began with A, it dead heated with some again. So I was on, it was originally my third choice horse, and then I switched this morning just because the price had gone in a little bit to about 8s, and I thought it was a bit short for that race. So had the winning, what that would be my fourth choice it would have been. So we had something out of the 335, something out of the 410. The 520 we didn't, but actually dropped down below 16 runners. So if you just took that out and then you went on to the Curragh, 610, 25 to 1 place out of the 3 selections, and the 640, 2 selections, a 14 to 1 winner, and the 8 o'clock, 2 selections, 22 to 1 winner. And it's ifs, buts and maybes in it always. So, you know, had I done the saver bet on the last 2 handicaps, the 640 at the Curragh and the 8 o'clock red car, that would have been a nice return. But it wasn't to be. And interestingly, actually, the 640, the Curragh, and the 8 o'clock red car, I think I'm right in saying they were both sprint handicaps as well. They're both sprint ones. The 8 o'clock certainly was. I think the 6 o'clock was 640 was. I have been saying recently that those handicaps, the sprint ones, it's been a bit harder to read. And today, technically, across both channel bets, free bets, and it was 6. So of the 3 6 furlong sprint handicaps at the Curragh, York, and Red Car, I did actually have the winners covered across my 2 channels. Not together. So people got to make their own choices, though. I guess that's the point of what I'm saying is, I know this channel is not just, you just need a Sky Bet account and that's it. The point of it was originally, when I started way back, like beginning of last year, was to demonstrate for the style of betting I'm doing, you're not necessarily going to have a huge voluminous amount of winners, but because of the prices I play with, it makes a big difference. So sometimes, the difference with a horse finishing 5th and 6th, if it's 4 to 1, that doesn't make any much difference to a horse that's 33 to 1. So I'm actively trying to find horses that I think can make the frame, and unfortunately what that means is I don't know the stats because I've not got the time to work that out, but I'm pretty confident I over-index on horses just scraping in or just scraping out of the frame, because that's what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to find winners always. Not always. If I find a horse at a big price and I think is the best one, that's brilliant, but what I'm trying to do is find horses that are overpriced for making the frame, and that's what we do. All right, let's overuse the phrase "it is what it is." So channel's up this week. Everyone should be up this week. Channel's up for the month. I know not everybody's up for the month. Channel, I think, is now sitting at about 400 for the year, something like that, and it's so hard to know how many people following are going to be up or not. What I do know is, if you're not up for the year, you can't be too far behind, because there's been a few occasions where Sky Bet's made these 50 quid, 60 quid, whatever differences, like today, but they aren't completely the difference between being up, being down. I will battle on. Other thing, just talk about the tips, the competition. Thank you very much for everyone who took part. So I'll need to do a bit of crunching the numbers next couple of days and see where we're at. I knew most of what I was explaining. I thought was quite simple. I knew there's a little complication when it comes to scoring. I appreciated people deciding how to split 10, and even in my own explanation I miscalculated, so I get that's complicated. But my word, folks, come on. This is going to take me a bit of time to work all this stuff out, but my word, did you make it hard for me today. I thought the instructions are simple. Enter by replying to the thread. Not everyone seemed to get that memo. 1, 2 or 3 entries. Not everyone got that memo. Only the races on ITV Racing. Not everybody got that memo. Don't do decimal points. Not everybody got that memo. I verbally said it, I wrote it in the comments, but what I know is people in life don't always follow instruction. All of those rules are to make it simple and clear, but also to make it easier for me to calculate. And if people want to make it complicated, that makes it really hard. So I will tot up the scores. What I'm going to do as an illustrative point is anybody who breached the rules on anything that I said will just go down as a void. I'm not going to get into whether someone put in 5 selections, which 3 would have been the ones in the score and all that sort of stuff. So it was a bit of a test run, right? So nobody's died about this, right? Hopefully, there wasn't any money up for grabs. So it's a test run. So I'm going to tot up the numbers and we'll see where we're at. But I'm curious to see how many people technically voided their entry. I think one thing, to be fair, that made it a little bit more difficult is because I put the staking plan and the tipster thing, it was all in one comment, so it was pinned at the top. I appreciate that would have made it a little bit more complicated. I don't know. I mean, my hunch was when I said, and this is why it's curious to do. My hunch is the vast majority of people will lose every time they enter, because that stands to reason. That's how betting is. But it'd be fascinating to see that of all the people that are interested, each week, how many people actually would have made profit each week, and because it gives you a real good insight into that kind of stuff. Now, people who are following the channel should absolutely have an interest in horses. You know, if you're following tips from somebody else, people might suggest that and you're entering in a competition like that might suggest you're not a professional gambler. I'd be surprised if there's professional gamblers following what I'm doing. Likewise, it was really interesting to see how many people commented, and I've never heard from them before. I think I almost got as many entries as I got likes on the video. So, it's not. You don't have to pay to enter, and there's no prize money. But if you're entering, maybe just at least like the video, because you've got a YouTube footprint. So, that would be. I think it's a fair deal. Fair deal. If you want to enter, like the video. I've got no way of checking that, so it's not. I'm not saying you have to. But and I've seen that happen I've seen that on other YouTube things over the years where people say, "Oh, you could only enter if you like a video or subscribed." I don't know, do I? So some people publicly subscribe and some people don't, and I don't know who subscribes always. But what I'm saying is, I think the decent thing to do is you're going to enter the competition, like the video too. Anywho, I'll tot it all up, and hopefully no one's going to lose any sleep over it. What I would say, really, really important, is thank you so much, Shane. I wasn't able to go in and out the comments after upload as quick as I'd like to have done. And Shane did an absolutely brilliant job at policing people on my behalf by flagging where they'd made errors or with their entries. So thank you, Shane. It was much, much appreciated. And I've also clocked Stephen has suggested that he might be able to support me with doing some of the number crunching as well. So thank you, Stephen. All that stuff really, really helps, because I think the concept's quite good, and I think it'll be a little funsy thing to have on a Saturday. And then, if it's going well, then we'll I'll try and carry it on. I'm not going to, just be clear as well, it would be lovely to do that for something like Ascot or Cheltenham. If I absolutely will not have time to do that. So when it's a big festival, people could do their own side hustle if people want to volunteer to do that. I will see how I get on with managing it on a Saturday only. So only Saturday, only ITV Racing. So if ITV Racing's on Friday, brilliant, but I'm not going to do the competition. It'll be a Saturday only competition. Anything else I was going to say about that? No, just really curious to crunch numbers and see how many people made profit though. I think that'd be really fascinating, just as a bit of an insight to do. And to be fair, that was what I was going to say to you as well. I didn't write it in the comments, but I went to see my dad today, so a little bit of context. He's back in hospital this week. He's back out again now. Hopefully he's staying out. But I said to him about the competition, and he gave me his entry, and I said I didn't get a chance to, but I was going to put in what his entry is, because I said I'm not taking part. But he'd have done really good today. He would have had 2-point win on Summergan split, because it was it was a dead heat, and then he had 2 point each way on Temple Brewer, and he had 1 point each way on Yuki and Glenn. That would have been his score. So yeah, my old man probably would have come out very well out of that, I think. So yeah, I can't count his because I didn't write it in for him. But yeah, he'd have done very well. Anyway, I think that's all I got for now. So I'll be back. What about Tuesday night for next week? So no vids from me for Monday or Tuesday selections. If I find anything I like, as usual, I will shove it in the comments, and then I'll be back next week for what I think is a regular week. So I think that means Tuesday, Wednesday night, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Saturday night. I think that is what I'm looking at. Yeah, because Monday's Bank Holiday Monday, but August Bank Holiday is not like a particularly special one. So there's quite a good bit of racing going on Monday. But yeah, I mean, if on the absolute off chance I find anything particularly good, I might jump on and do a very, very quick video. But more than likely, it might be something in the comments. All right, that is me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you, for those who are returning viewers, on Tuesday night. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.